So yesterday, the Oscar nominations were released, and having seen the nominations and having taken a look at them and kind of like analyzing them and such, honestly, for the most part, I'm okay with them. There are definitely some surprises here, some good surprises, some obviously not so good surprises here, like who got in, who got snubbed and such. There are so many things that I really loved. First off, Sinners getting 16 nominations, which is the most, not just of this year, but in all of Academy history, in all 98 years. Sinners has gotten the most nominations of any movie. It beat Titanic, it beat La La Land, beat All About Eve. So that is very impressive for a horror movie to do that. I am really surprised by that, and not to mention Sinners, I think is a great movie. It was my number one movie of last year, so that was really cool to see. There was definitely some surprises here and there that I'm like, okay, wow, I didn't expect that at all. Like Wicked getting completely snubbed. Now, I kind of figured it wasn't going to be nominated for Best Picture. I kind of figured Cynthia Erivo was not going to get a Best Actress nomination. And at this point, kind of was not surprised that Ariana Grande did not get a nomination. I was kind of thinking, if Cynthia Erivo doesn't get nominated, I feel like it'd only be fair if Ariana Grande wasn't also nominated. But that's just me, though. But I was actually more surprised that it didn't get anything in the specialty categories, nothing for production or costume, which it won last year, or even for song. It's like you didn't want Ariana Grande to perform at the Oscars. It's like, wow, you really don't want people to watch this show. But there are a couple other songs that are nominated that I hope they do perform, but I'll talk about them. But there are a couple surprises here and there that I like, some that I don't like every year. But I'll go through them. So let's start off with. So in this video, I'm gonna go through all the categories, at least the main ones. Picture, directing, acting, the new one, casting, as well as the other like smaller categories like production design, cinematography, and such. So let's get into this year's nominees, including Best Picture. The nominees are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. This is a category that I predicted pretty easily. The only one that was kind of a surprise to me was F1. Now, I loved F1. I thought that was a great theatrical experience, and I'm really glad to see it nominated for Best Picture. I was kind of thinking that it was just an accident, was going to take that last spot, but I guess it kind of faltered because it hasn't won a lot of the Best International Movie categories and such over the years. But there are really no surprises here. Love seeing F1 here. Love seeing Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners all here. The other ones I think are fine. I don't know if it's kind of like they needed to fill out the category and such. Like I thought Begonia was not really going to get nominated for the longest time, but then start getting all these nominations. I'm not sure it's just because, Yorgos Lanthimos is kind of an Oscar darling at this point. But I do think that for the most part, this is a solid category, but I still think this is going to be One Battle After Another's win here. I think this movie probably has the best chance of winning. It's been winning all the other awards. While I would love to see Sinners win, I think One Battle After Another also deserves it. But I think One Battle After Another will win and should win either Sinners or One Battle After Another. Usually the movie with the most nominations doesn't always win. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's just kind of hit or miss, but I think One Battle After Another, because it's already kind of like winning all these other awards, I think it has the best chance of winning. Meanwhile, Best Director, the nominees are Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. This was a category that I also kind of predicted very easily because I kind of thought Josh Safdie was going to get in there. I was kind of worried he wasn't, but I thought when I saw him, I was like, yes, thank you. I thought he did a fantastic job with Marty Supreme. And, I love seeing Paul Thomas Anderson here, Ryan Coogler here. I was worried he was going to get snubbed for some reason. I don't know why, because Sinners was just such a cultural phenomenon and such, but I was kind of worried that he wasn't going to get a nomination. There really are no surprises here, honestly. Any of the Best Picture, I don't know, some people wanted Guillermo del Toro nominated for Frankenstein, but he's already won it before, so I'm not too surprised here. But then again, Chloe Zhao has also won before, and she's also here. But there's really no surprises here, but I still think Paul Thomas Anderson will likely win this. It's finally his time. He'll finally get his flowers. And I think, I would love to see Ryan Coogler take this as well, but I think it's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson. So should win Ryan Coogler, Paul Thomas Anderson will win Paul Thomas Anderson. Best Actor. The nominees are Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Another category that I thought was pretty easy to predict. Ethan Hawke I thought was actually really good in Blue Moon. He kind of carried that entire movie, and, I think hopefully more people do see that movie. I would say the weakest actor in this category is probably Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he was one of the weaker aspects of that movie. I thought Chase Infinity was better. I thought Sean Penn was better. I thought Benicio del Toro was better, but I think they just want DiCaprio at the Oscars this year. But to me, I was really excited to see Michael B. Jordan get nominated for his role, or in this case, his roles. But I do think that it's going to go to Timothy Chalamet. I think he'll get the Oscar. I thought his performance was incredible. He carried that entire movie. So I will say Timothy Chalamet should win this and will win this. Best Actress. Now, this is one of the only categories where I was kind of upset with some of the choices. Or mainly in this case, one choice, but I'll get into that. So the Best Actress, the nominees are Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Renz, the lead actress from Sentimental Value. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, I apologize. And Emma Stone for Begonia. I think this category is kind of what I predicted. Jessie Buckley, I think she will likely win this category. Rose Byrne, it was great to see her in this movie and for her to be nominated. Emma Stone, I thought she was good, but I don't know about Best Actress worthy again. This is kind of one of the weaker years for Best Actress because let's look at Kate Hudson for a second. Her performance in the movie, it wasn't bad by any means, but Best Actress, I don't know about that. Now, I did see Song Sung Blue. I didn't do a review on it because I didn't really have too much to say about it. I thought it was just okay at best. But, again, her being nominated? No, it doesn't really make sense. Chase Infinity should have gotten that spot instead of her. I thought she was great in that movie, but Kate Hudson was just fine. Nothing about that movie really stood out, but I don't think that she even has a chance to win it. I think it's mainly going to go to Jessie Buckley. I think her performance was really good. Personally, I would love to see Rose Byrne take it, but Jessie Buckley has been winning more awards than she has, so I'll say Jessie Buckley will win this, but I think Rose Byrne should personally win it, but that's just me, though. Best Supporting Actor, the nominees are Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo, Sinners, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Mostly solid category. This was one of those categories that actually kind of caught me by surprise because of Delroy Lindo's inclusion, which I thought that was a great surprise. Paul Mescal was not nominated for Hamnet, which I was kind of surprised by. I figured Hamnet was going to be a movie that was going to basically get in every category, but no, it was Sinners. But I'm really glad to see Delroy Lindo here. Great to see Elordi here. Both Del Toro and Penn, as for One Battle After Another, I thought they were great in their roles. But also, I'm surprised Delroy Lindo got the nomination over Miles Catton, because Miles Catton is kind of like the core of Sinners, and I was kind of hopeful he would get the nomination. But just as long as he performs I Lied to You at the Oscars, I'll be okay. But let's talk about who I think will win Best Supporting Actor, and I think it's Stellan Skarsgård. It's kind of one of those stories where it's like, he's been around in the industry for so long, it's finally time. And other actors like, say, Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro have already won. And Jacob Elordi, he's still relatively new, at least. So, Stellan Skarsgård, he did win the Golden Globe, at least, which is usually the best indicator of these awards and such. So I think it's going to go to him, and probably give Sentimental Value at least a chance to win an award. Usually the Academy likes to spread out their awards evenly in a way, but so that way each movie gets something, which is like, oh, Marty Supreme will get this, Hamnet will get this, and Sentimental Value will get this. So I do think Stellan Skarsgård will win, but I don't know if he was my favorite. I would prefer seeing Sean Penn win. Again, not a fan of Sean Penn, but he was great in that movie. But either Sean Penn or even Jacob Elordi I would be okay with more than Stellan Skarsgård, because I thought their performances were better than his, personally. Best Supporting Actress, the nominees are Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Isdottir Lilius for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Kind of a few surprises here, mainly Elle Fanning getting in. I thought she was going to be snubbed completely from that movie. I thought it was going to be Ariana Grande taking that spot, but again, Wicked got completely shut out from this entire ceremony. Really good to see Wunmi Mosaku here as well. Thought she was really good in the movie. But I think it's mainly down to Teyana Taylor and Amy Madigan. I think those two actresses did a pretty good job. Teyana Taylor, I wish her character was in the movie more, but it's still very impressive, where it's like, I kind of realized Teyana Taylor's character in One Battle After Another is like in the first half, whereas Amy Madigan's character in Weapons is in the second half. But both are very effective, and I think both actresses are really good. Personally, I would love to see Amy Madigan over Teyana Taylor, but I think Teyana Taylor will likely take this because I think she has more buzz, I feel like. But really no surprises here overall. So it's like, I think Teyana Taylor will win this, but Amy Madigan or her should win this. Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Couple surprises here. Blue Moon getting in. Now, I thought it didn't do too well at the box office, so that's kind of why I was surprised it got in for a couple categories. Best Actor, I kind of predicted, but Best Original Screenplay, not so much. But Other than that, the only kind of surprises that I would have liked to seen here, I would have liked to have seen Weapons in here maybe, or Sorry Baby, or what else? Secret Agent. I'm kind of surprised that didn't get a nomination considering it got a bunch of other nominations. But oh well. But at least they gave it was just an accident something here. I will try to watch that before the ceremony. I haven't seen that one yet, but Marty Supreme I like seeing here. Sinners I think is definitely going to be the winner in this category. Really glad for that. I think that's has the best chance of winning. I think it will win. I think it should win. Marty Supreme is also in that category of should win as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it took it, but I think Sinners is the better movie. Meanwhile, Best Adapted Screenplay: Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Nothing really surprising in this category. I think One Battle After Another will take this, and I think it should take this. Best Animated Feature: we have Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. No real surprises here, but K-Pop Demon Hunters will win this and should win this. That was a great animated movie and really good surprise from this past year. Best International Feature Film, we have The Secret Agent from Brazil, It Was Just an Accident from France, Sentimental Value from Norway, Surat from Spain, and The Voice of Hind Rajah from Tunisia. A few surprises here. The only one that kind of caught me off guard was like No Other Choice from South Korea. I thought that one was going to get in. I did see that one the day before the Oscars, and I thought it was pretty good, but not my favorite movie of the year. I definitely liked aspects of it, but I didn't love it as a whole. But I will say The Secret Agent has been winning a bunch of these other awards, and also Sentimental Value has more Oscar nominations, so I think it's mainly down to those two. It'd be kind of weird if something like Sarah and It Was Just an Accident, which don't have Best Picture nominees, get it. So I'm kind of gonna go with I'm gonna go with The Secret Agent just to kind of give it something at least, because also it has been winning a bunch of the other awards over Sentimental Value. I think Secret Agent was a little bit better than Sentimental Value, personally, but I think because Sentimental Value will at least win something like, say, Best Supporting Actor, I think, again, just to kind of spread it out a little bit, Secret Agent will likely win this one as well. I'm not going to talk about documentary, the shorts. So let's talk about the new category for this year, Best Casting. The nominees are Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. So it's kind of hard to predict with this category because obviously it's a brand new category. But personally, I think Sinners will likely win this one, and I think it should win this one. That movie was cast very well. Also, One Battle After Another was also pretty cast. Well, it was cast pretty well. I think it could also take it, but I think it's mainly going to go to Sinners. Best cinematography, we have Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. The only movie I'm surprised is not here is Hamnet. I thought that was likely going to get in, but no. It went to these other movies instead, which I think they're all deserving. Well, maybe not Train Dreams. I wasn't really the biggest fan of Train Dreams, but, I'll talk about that closer to when I do my Best Picture ranking lists. But I think this will go to Sinners. I think that cinematography was just incredible, particularly that one scene. You know what I'm talking about, the one where it's like all the different music styles in one shot and the club burns down, metaphorically speaking. That was an incredible shot, and I think that scene alone should be like, if they show the clips of the shots in the movie during this category, I think that's the shot that they're going to show. But I think Sinners will take this. I think it should win this and will win this. Best costume design, we have Avatar Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. Avatar Fire and Ash gets a costume design nomination, but Wicked doesn't. Okay. Meanwhile, I think this is kind of the start where Frankenstein's going to get like a bunch of the specialty categories. I think this one, it deserves it. I think Frankenstein will win this one, and I think it should win this one. Best Film Editing, we have F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I think if F1's going to win an Oscar, I think this is going to be one of those chances where it's like the chances are really high. I think it's going to come down to F1 or One Battle After Another for this category. I think they should win this, and I think one of them will win this. Best Makeup and Hairstyling, we have Frankenstein, Kokoho. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I apologize. Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. I have not heard of two of those movies, if I'm being honest, but this is going to go to Frankenstein. Like, the makeup on Frankenstein's monster himself, just incredible. I think it should win this and will win this. Best Production Design, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I'm kind of surprised by One Battle After Another being this category, because I thought the production design was kind of fine. It was kind of like normal, but everything else kind of felt otherworldly. Like Frankenstein felt otherworldly, Sinners felt otherworldly, even Hamnet felt more like, a unique world compared to something like One Battle After Another. But I digress. But this will be my last prediction for Frankenstein. I will say this is likely going to take it. I think it will win this, and I think it should win this. Best Original Score, the nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I think all these scores are really good, particularly Begonia, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I wished the score from Marty Supreme was also in this category, but unfortunately it isn't. But I think this is going to be Ludwig Göransson's next Oscar. He's been winning a bunch of Oscars. He did the score for Oppenheimer, the score for Black Panther, which I think he won for both of those movies, so I think he's going to get it as well. Would also love to see Johnny Greenwood also win this one as well, but I think it's going to mainly Ludwig Göransson is going to win this. The music in Sinners was essential to that movie, and I feel like Ludwig Göransson's music was just incredible, and I feel like his music is probably going to take it. I think he will win this. I think he should win this, but I also wouldn't mind seeing Johnny Greenwood win, or even Jerkson Fredericks winning for Begonia. I thought his music was incredible, but also Marty Supreme's music should have been in here as well. Best Original Song, we have Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Golden's going to win this one. It should win this one, but I would also love seeing I Lied to You take this one as well. But last year, they did not have the Best Original Song nominees performed at the Oscars. And if you don't have Golden or I Lied to You perform at this ceremony, you're missing out. Like, people would actually watch if those two songs were actually nominated. But I'm kind of surprised Wicked didn't even get a nomination here for Best Original Song. I figured one of the two originals would be in this category. It's like, you don't want those two leads at your ceremony. Are you kidding me? But again, I think Golden will likely take this one because it's been winning a bunch of the other awards. Best Sound, the nominees are F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Seurat. This is the other category that I think F1 could take. I feel like this has a stronger chance than film editing, but I think F1 definitely deserves it. Just being in an IMAX theater watching this movie was just incredible with the sound design. And I think this movie will likely take it. I think it should and will win this category. And for Best Visual Effects, which is the last category, we have Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Why is Jurassic World here? Why? It was terrible. Even the visual effects were just not really that impressive. You know, I can look at something like, say, Avatar Fire and Ash, and while I didn't love that movie, I was still at least blown away by the visuals and would be okay with it winning Best Visual Effects. But Jurassic World, come on. Come on. The Lost Bus, I thought that was a pretty good movie, but I don't know if it was Best Visual Effects worthy. I'm kind of surprised Superman didn't get in here, or Fantastic Four, or even Wicked, but I never understand the Academy half the time. Or more than half the time, I would say. But I will say Avatar will likely win this and should win this. Even though, again, I didn't love that movie, I still think it is visually impressive, and I still think that all these other movies, you know, they've also won in the past, so it doesn't really surprise me if it will win this. So overall, with the nominations, Sinners got 16 nominations. Again, the most nominations for any movie in any Oscar ceremony ever, which is incredible for that movie. One Battle After Another with 13. You know, if Chase Infinity got a nomination, you could have at least tied for second most nominations ever. But I digress. 9 nominations for Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Sentimental Value. No surprise, really, for Frankenstein. I figured with all the specialty categories, it was going to get a lot of those. Kind of really glad about Marty Supreme getting at least 9 nominations. Hamnet only got 8 nominations, which I'm kind of surprised by. I figured that would be in the double digits at least. Paul Mescal was also snubbed again, so again, if he had been nominated, and maybe if it was like nominated for like cinematography, then it would have gotten to 10. But oh well. 4 nominations each for Begonia, F1, The Secret Agent, and Train Dreams. Not really surprised for any of these movies. I figured that they weren't going to get as many nominations as some of the other ones. And 2 nominations each for Avatar Fire and Ash, Blue Moon, K-Pop Demon Hunters, It Was Just an Accident, and Seurat. No real surprise with those. Maybe Blue Moon, again, because I felt like that was such a small movie and didn't really make that much of an impact, but I guess it did. Great to see K-Pop Demon Hunters get 2 nominations. And I do want to see Seurat. I know that's opening in wide release in February, so I'll maybe try to go out of my way just to see that movie. But overall, solid list for the most part. There's some hiccups here and there, but I wasn't as mad as I was with some other previous years, but it's a solid list. But there are definitely some things where I'm like, really, that's nominated, but this is not nominated. Like, this person's nominated, but they're not nominated. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I'm still going to be, I'll still see, like, who's going to win. Like, I'll still watch the ceremony and such. Conan O'Brien is back, which I thought he did a really good job the first time. And I hope he's kind of allowed to do a lot more, be a lot more Conan in this one. I think he was kind of held back a little bit, and I hope he goes full Conan when he hosts again. And also, for the ceremony, no more James Bond tributes. Like, there's a James Bond tribute almost every year, and it's just annoying at this point. We don't need 10 minutes of a James Bond tribute. I would rather see I Lied to You and Golden perform. But, yeah, just really think about what you're doing. And also, Hulu, make sure that you show the full ceremony instead of cutting out at, like, the last 20 minutes. So, those are my thoughts overall on this year's Oscar nominations. I will likely talk about all the Best Picture nominees again, probably, like, a couple days before the actual ceremony itself. The Oscars will be airing on March 15th. And, yeah, that's it. So, what are your thoughts on this year's Oscar nominations? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.